Okay, the question is, should my fountain pen be leaking? And the answer is no. It is common every now and then to have what's called a burp in the cap of your pen for various pens, especially depending on how much you're jumping up and down or wearing it in your pocket or whatever, and there's a lot of movement. But otherwise, no, your pen should not be leaking. So I'm going to do this tutorial for you just so that you could kind of see what to expect. Some of this is not for the faint of heart. You may need a professional to look at it unless you just really want to get your hands dirty. So the cap, we'll take that off, and let me talk about the nib and feed here. Okay, so you have your nib. You're used to seeing that, obviously. You may not be used to doing anything with the feed, but this black part here is called the feed. And on your nib, I don't know if you can see this or not, you want to make sure that the tines are perfectly aligned in the middle of the feed right there at the end. And if this feed is one side or the other, that could cause you some writing issues, but it could also mean that the ink is not going to be contained as well. So you could have some leakage there. But the other thing that can happen, let me take this apart, take the barrel off. So you have your converter. For most of you, you may have a cartridge instead. Or for the vintage pens, you may have a bag. And of course, I wouldn't have been able to take this apart as easily if I had a bag. But so what you want to do first off is you want to get a paper towel or a napkin that's folded over many times, because it's going to bleed through. And you want to grab the nib firmly. And you want to push this cartridge or converter to make sure it is tight against the nib. If it's just sitting in the section, this is called the section right here. If it's just sitting there and not all the way bumped up against that nib feed, you might have leakage. Okay. Also, this is not for the faint of heart at all, and I'm not even going to do it on my pen unless I had it all taken apart and cleaned, because I don't want to get ink all over me. But this nib slides into a nib, the nib and feed slide into this nib housing that is inside the section. When you look on mine, so the section is silver, but the nib feed that is in there is black, okay? If that is cracked, either because you've dropped it or because you were tightening the nib too tight or what have you, a crack in that portion can also cause you to have leakage. And so that would be something that you'd want to check out. For me, I would want to drop the converter out, and I would want to flush the section, the nib feed, and the nib thoroughly with water before I really started taking this apart. And some of these will twist out. If you have a Yo-O nib like this one is, or a Bach, this whole unit will twist out. All right, I'm going to grab it and twist it, and it will twist out. Your older pens, or some of, I guess there may be some current units, some Schiefers maybe, some others, where you actually have to just grab firmly and pull this out. So you grab and pull, and it may not come easily. You may have to kind of jimmy it a little bit, shake it back and forth as you pull it. And others may have what's called a shellac. It may be, it's not a glue per se, but it's something that is used to seal. And so you may need to run it under warm water to get that shellac seal to break. The challenge with that is if you don't have any shellac to put back on it, that may cause you some issues depending on your pen. So that's a very quick thing to take a look at for you. Just make sure the converter or the cartridge is genuinely pushed all the way into the nib feed unit inside the section. If it's not, that will cause you leakage. Thanks. Have a great day.